Hi, it's me again. I am back to do another wrong video because anything worth doing is worth doing wrong, right? So, today we're going to do a walkthrough and setup of my Once Upon a Time Management Planner, Dragon Edition, which just came out and which I'm going to be using this quarter. So, this is the planner. I put this planner together because over the years I've used a bunch of different planners and I've loved pieces of all of them. Most recently I've been using the HB90 planner, which again I love. Right now I'm feeling like my life is not together enough to use that system very effectively. So it's very based on making goals that you're going to do throughout the quarter and organizing them in a way that you can do them, and estimating how much time things are going to take, and finding time blocks within your life and knowing how many time blocks you've got. My life is not working that way right now. I would love it if it was. I hope one day to be back in a place where it's working that way. But right now, my life is more of a wing it as you go. I've got doctor appointments for various family members, chopping up different portions of my day. Sometimes I expect them, sometimes they're inserted partway through the week and I have planned something else. I rarely know a whole quarter ahead when these appointments are going to be coming up, or how many they're going to be, or how long they're going to take. Additionally, my health is such that I don't know from one day to the next how much energy I'm going to have or how much brain fog there's going to be that I'm trying to work through. So right now I feel like I need a system that kind of is a little more flexible and rolls with my punches a little bit more. So I have combined some things and made up some of my own things and put them together into this planner. I wanted a nice bound, well, at least a bound planner this time. Often I like to be able to put in pages and take out pages, and this time I just wanted to start with all the pages I thought that I would need and go from there. So anyway, this is the planner, Once Upon a Time Management, play on words. This Dragon Edition starts out with "This epic life adventure belongs to," and so you get to write your name in there. I will write mine. A little shaky today, apparently. It's got this section right in the next page where it tells you how the planner's organized. Quarterly pages, monthly pages, weekly pages, daily pages, and some extras. We've got a table of contents so you can find your specific months or weeks or other kinds of sections easily. Additionally, if you flip to the very back, the first page, once you get past all the printer stuff in the back, is a notes index. So you can, when you're taking notes in the lined or dot grid note pages in here, they all have page numbers on them. And you can write the page number here and the description of whatever you've written on there, so you can find your notes easily. I like to be able to find things when I'm looking for stuff in my planner. So then the next section is the quarterly pages, which at this point, in future editions, I might add some quarterly goals pages and things, but right now I feel like I can't set quarterly goals, and maybe some of you are in that kind of boat also. So I don't have any quarterly goal pages right now. I do have a year at a glance for this year, a year at a glance for next year. This quarter is highlighted. This is a dated edition. There will be undated editions coming, or an undated edition of each planner. I'm planning to make future ones as well. But the dated version has the quarter highlighted so that it's easy to find dates for the quarter in here. And then we've got some future planning pages. Actually, I'm just going to go back here really quick while I've got this open. I've got a class that I'm going to be teaching. It's a community education class at one of the local universities. It's the Green University, not the Blue University, for those of you who are local and know. It will be, it's a fiction writing class. Oh, I have something on my fingernail. Fiction writing class will start September 6th, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And level 1 is the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th of September. And then there's a level 2, which I have been color-coding blue in all the places that I have it marked. And that is in October. The Wednesdays in October, the 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. If you're local, I would love to have you come. We have a good time in these classes. This is the second year I will be teaching there. I was really flattered to have been asked. Okay, so now I can look on there and see that those are coming up. In future editions, I may shrink the calendars a little bit and put some lines underneath so I can write what that is. I may come back later and write it just in the margin someplace. I don't know, we'll see. Right now, it's marked, I can see it. I could also put it on here. These are future planning pages. So this planner goes through September, because it's third quarter, July, August, September. So then it will pick up in October, November, and December will be the next quarter. And so if you have things that you know of that are coming up in the next quarter, you can write them on here. These are numbered 1 through 31, or 30 in the case of November, because it only has 30 days. But you could, instead of using these as days, you could just use them as item numbers that for a task list of things that you want to get done during those quarters. If you have tasks that you want to save until future quarters, there's January, February, March here, April, May, June, July, August, September of next year. So you can plan ahead at least a little bit. Okay, so then we get to July, which is our first month in this quarter. See, there's a prepare to journey through the month ahead, which is going to walk me through. With the brain fog issues some days, I really find checklists helpful, because then even if I can't think what I need to do next, I can at least look on the checklist. So this is going to tell me to mark upcoming events and important appointments on the monthly calendar. The monthly calendar is the next page over, and it's just laid out like a typical monthly calendar. There is a little space over here for notes. Then it will say choose 1 to 3 major life goals to work toward this month. Oh, I have to say really quick though first, we have this cute coloring page, dragon themed coloring page, that I found on iStock and purchased for the purpose. So I'm not ripping off somebody's art, but these are by L. Kramer on iStock, and I have one on each month, and they're super cute. So go play with the coloring pages. It's a good fidget, or you can just leave them as cute line art, which may be what I will do this time around, because I'm so scattered and behind and slow. Anyway, so then after we write in our major events on the monthly calendar, and these aren't going to be every little niggly thing that you have to do during the month, there's not space for that, but like if I was teaching that class this month, I would definitely write those dates in, and I might write some prep days and things like that. Okay, so then choose 1 to 3 major life goals to work up toward this month. On the campaign objectives page, that's this page, campaign objectives, write a life goal in the campaign section at the top of a column. In the objective section, write the next milestone you're aiming for on your path to completing that campaign, and list the next several steps you will need to take to reach that milestone. Don't list all the steps in your campaign, just the ones you think you can achieve this month. So obviously one of the campaigns that I'm working on, I'm not going to take the time to write these in right now. I'll probably do that off screen when I can take a little extra time to think through what my goals are going to be for this month. But obviously one of them is going to be to try and push forward in the second book of the Dragon series, which I have, the Vanir Dragon Series, which I've been working on. So I'll write that in up here in the campaign, and in the objective I'm probably going to try to finish the manuscript. I'm not sure if that's a realistic goal for this month, but I might write it in there anyway. For next steps, I've got a fight scene that has been giving me all kinds of trouble. I think I need to kind of roll that one back a little bit and try again. So it'll be that, and then I've got some chapters after that that I will be doing some revisions on. There's a chapter that needs to be rewritten, and then a few more chapters to the end of the book. Like, I'm getting so close, you guys. I'm so hung up on this fight scene. Anyway, down here there is a little calendar where I can mark off the days that I am working on the goal, so that I can see at the end of the month how I've done with working consistently on these goals. And sometimes you'll have goals that are mostly next steps, and you don't need to keep track of which days you work on them. But some days you'll have goals that are like building a habit, and you may not even need to write next steps, but maybe you'll want to just track which days you've been working on it. So keep in mind that there are different kinds of goals, and use the appropriate marking system for whatever goal you're working on. I like to choose a goal in my writing, a goal for, well, they might go in a different order. Anyway, a goal for my writing, a goal for the business aspects of being a writer. So there are some updates that need to be done on my website, for example, little things you may not notice, but they need to be done. I need to add the Dragon Planner into my website someplace, probably. That kind of thing. Also bookkeeping, marketing plans, that kind of thing, just business aspects of being an author. And then I like to have a goal that is a home and family goal, just to kind of keep my life a little bit in balance and make sure that I'm not neglecting my family. So like one goal I had last year was to have a weekly date night with my husband. That's gotten to be a pretty good habitual thing, and I think that's been really good for our relationship and for our family. So that kind of thing. This month it may be related to some house cleaning goals, because that has taken a hit since my cancer, and there are some things I really would like to catch up on. So I'm going to be making some of these goals. Then we have the adventure board over here, and if we flip back to our preparing for the journey through the month ahead page, let's see. On the adventure board, write down other tasks you need to complete this month. So these are things that are not part of your goals, but they're stuff that just needs to get done. I need to make a doctor appointment for my son. I need to clean out the linen closet, which may or may not be part of my cleaning goals. We'll see. I need to restock some pantry items. These are not part of the goals, but they're things that need to get done. And those can go on the adventure board. And if you would like to, you can assign a reward for yourself when you finish a given adventure that is on your adventure board, so that when you accept that adventure and then complete it, you have a reward that you can come back to your, tavern and your dragon adventure and receive your reward. And those can be whatever rewards are motivating to you and fit within your budget. Speaking of which, the next pages are an income sheet and an expenses sheet. For tracking, I like to track my business expenses here. You could use this for your home income and expenses. And my next check box on the preparation list would be to complete any pending financial bookkeeping tasks for last month. Over the next month, regularly update my income and expenses page to make sure that this task is easier at the end of the month. This is something I have found myself falling behind on, is just the record keeping. with the income and expenses, and then I have to like make a big project out of catching it up, and I would really rather just keep up with it every week, every month, so it never becomes such a big task. Then it says, turn to the Equip Yourself page on the back of the expenses sheet and follow the checklist instructions to prepare for the first week of the month, and of the quarter. And then I'm just going to go through this section before we move on. Each day, use the information you collected on your weekly pages to create a plan for that day. Often, things shift through the course of a week, and creating the daily pages as you go gives you flexibility to adapt your plan without making a mess of your planner. When you make your daily plan, remember to add time-specific events and appointments to the hourly agenda section. Be sure to plan for preparation and travel time. So if you have an appointment, this may be a me thing, it might be an ADHD thing, but if I write down that I have a 3 o'clock appointment, I need to also make sure that I am aware that it's going to take me half an hour to get there, and I need another half hour to get my purse and my shoes and my right glasses for driving, and my keys and my phone, like all of the things. So just it helps keep things from being crazy if I make sure that I also kind of mark how much time I'm going to need to get ready and to travel there. Add 3 top priorities for the day to the 3 lines at the top of the page. I'll show you those in just a minute. You could also use those for menu planning or whatever. Use one of the remaining sections of the page to make a list of additional tasks. The other sections are for you to use at your discretion. Down here, there's a little note. The Cut and Create bookmark labeled Today also has a daily checklist for your convenience. And I'll show you that again in a minute, but we're going to just keep going forward from here. So, after the monthly income and expenses, we get into the weekly pages. And this checklist helps me get ready for my week. By going through processing unfinished tasks from last week, checking the weather to see what that's going to do to me this week, because weather can affect travel time and what kinds of tasks I'm going to pick. So it's good to be aware of that up front. Time-specific events and appointments. You will also go back to your campaign objectives page, pull in some next steps. You may choose some quests from your adventure board to add to your week. And which items that are now on this week's projects and processes lists are key to having a successful week. Write them on the weekly overview page. And there's a little bit of space here with some extra check boxes so that you can add things in that you want to make sure that you do every week. And then when you get to the next week and you hit your Equip Yourself list, you can flip back to this page and see what you did the previous week and see if you want to move that forward as well. Okay, so week 1, I have these fun dragon-related quotes at the beginning of each week. A life fueled by passions is like riding on the back of a dragon. That sounds exciting. And then we get into our weekly pages. So this is kind of a weekly tasks dashboard that helps me stay on top of just what needs to be done during the week, kind of all in one place. And then the next page is a weekly spread, vertical columns, that helps me plan when I'm going to do those things that I've planned to do. At least kind of a general plan of action going in, which I know is going to change as I go through the week, because it always does. Anyway, these sections on this page are unlabeled, so that you can label them however you want and use them for what you'd like. I'm going to be using this top part for family budget for the week, just the weekly family budgets items that I am responsible for. I do some of them, my husband does some of them are just fixed expenses that we just pay and neither one of us tracks carefully like this. But we follow sort of roughly as a guide a system that I learned about from Jordan Page on YouTube, and I can try and remember to link that below. If I forget, just nudge me in the comments and I will definitely post a link there. We have found it manageable and simple, and that is important for our family. So anyway, I will do my weekly budgeting stuff here. This section I'm going to be using for menu planning. If I plan my menus at the beginning of the week and then do my shopping on Monday, which right now is my habit that I'm working on, then I know that I have the groceries I need for these meals, and I don't assign specific meals to specific days at this point, because I know that as soon as I do that, something's going to come up in one of those days and it's going to throw the whole plan off, because that's how it always seems to work. So I just plan a week's worth of menus, and then when I get to the day, each day I come back and I look at what meal items are going to fit well with the day that is in front of me. Over here I have 3 columns labeled projects, processes, and pop-ups. So this is just to kind of organize my tasks into categories. This helps me kind of keep track of where I am in different aspects of my life. Projects are tasks that are pretty much a one and done. You do the project and you check it off and you don't have to worry about it anymore. At least not for a long time. This might be like cleaning out my linen closet right now. It's not something that I need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. It's gotten bad right now and I need to kind of muck it out. So I get it back organized. So that would be a project. A process would be something like I want to clean out the refrigerator leftovers, because that's a thing that needs to happen on a regular basis in order to keep my life running properly. So that would be processes that I need to do through the week. This would also be like my weekly bookkeeping. Planning might go here if I wanted to add it to the task list. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Just things that are recurring, that are going to happen again, as opposed to projects. When I complete projects, I feel like I've made forward motion on a theme. So I usually put my next tasks from my campaign page into the projects section. Processes, that makes me feel like if I do these things, I can stay on top of the life that I'm trying to build. Pop-ups, these are just all of those little things that you didn't know about at the beginning of the week when you were making your plan, but they pop up during the week and they have to get done at some point. And maybe they don't fit into the day that you're having, so you don't want to add it to your daily page, because that will just clutter it up and make you feel like you haven't done all the things that you need to do. But it still needs to get done, so you have to have it written down someplace. Pop-ups is where I write those. And they may get forwarded to the next week. If they get forwarded, I usually put them in a project or a process, depending on how they fit in my life. So this would be like, at the beginning of this week, I didn't know that I needed to schedule a doctor appointment for my son, but now I know. And so I would not have planned that into the beginning of my week. I didn't plan it in my planner that I'm using now. So it goes into pop-ups so that I remember to schedule an appointment. Okay, so that's the weekly task planning kind of dashboard spread that I've got here. Then on this spread, now that I kind of know what I want to do this week, this is kind of a strategizing page for when I can maybe do it. This helps me know if I've planned things that I want to do that are not actually possible to do altogether in one week, so that I can make sure that my expectations are realistic. And it's also so I don't feel like I have to do it all right now. That might be another me thing or an ADHD thing, but if I don't have a specific time when I'm thinking I will try at least to get it done, that's my intention, then it feels like I have to do all of it right now, all at once, and it's so overwhelming. So this helps me kind of make a map of my week and when I am intending at least to do the things on my task list. I do have moon phases in here, just because I am feeling right now like I want to reconnect a little bit more with kind of natural cycles and processes, and moon phases are something that is observable, and it kind of helps me feel connected to the world. You can ignore them, you can use them for your own lunar purposes. That's why they're on there for me. I also have a little set of weather icons on here. There is a thermometer and a little space next to it where you can write the high and low temperatures for the day in the weekly weather forecast, so you can kind of know what's coming. And then there's a full sun, partly cloudy or mostly cloudy or whatever, fully clouds. There's a raindrop, a snowflake, and around here wind can be an issue. So if there's a high wind day expected, we live near the mountains, and when the temperature changes, the air just comes down the mountains and channels straight through everybody's backyard around here. So I like to kind of note if there's a day when high wind is going to be expected. Okay, and then I will put all of my weekly appointments that have a time associated with them on the days so that I can see what blocks of time are left over that are not already spoken for. And then I can take projects or processes from my list or the pop-ups, but usually I don't know about those at the beginning of the week. So projects or processes I will put in at least the major ones on my days so that I know which day I am intending to do that. I also have some task cards that I'm not showing you today. They're in this little file over here that you may or may not be able to see on the side depending on how I crop the video at the end, but I can show you that system later. It helps me know what I'm doing which days of the week, so that I don't have to rewrite the lists all the time. These are recurring things that they repeat weekly, and I want to make sure that they're in there. So I would write cleaning day instead of all of the things that I would want to clean on cleaning day, for example. Over here you may notice that this small calendar shows you where in the month this week is located, and there's room for notes over here as well. Then we get to the daily pages. I need daily pages because not all of the things, several reasons. One reason is not all of the things that I need to do in a day are going to fit on one of these columns. Some days they do, sometimes they wouldn't. But this also gives me a fresh, clean start every day that isn't scribbled out because a thing got moved or something needed to get inserted, so I had to move things around or insert things or cross things off or whatever. This can be a little overwhelming to look at every day and try to just focus in on, it might be an ADHD thing, I don't know, but I can't with a whole page where it's all scribbled out with arrows moving things around and all of that. Just it's too much. It makes me feel overwhelmed. So I get a fresh, clean start every day. I will look at my weekly page and move the appointments and things onto my daily page. Often things shift around, and so whatever is on here may have changed, and I may have something crossed out and scribbled out and written over and stickered over or whatever. Speaking of which, I made the columns 1.5 inches wide so that Happy Planner stickers will fit in the columns because I like Happy Planner stickers. And this column also, this little box is the same size, if I did my job right, as a Happy Planner classic size box. So you can put your stickers in there. if you also are a Happy Planner sticker fan. Anyway, fresh, clean start for the day. There are 3 lines at the top. I'm using these for my top 3 priorities for the day, so that if I get these 3 things done, I can feel like at least it was a pretty successful day. I use this big section for all of the other stuff that needs to get done during a day. Often I don't know about these things until the day before, or they are the little niggly things that are on my pop-up list, or maybe it's a process or a project that I didn't initially plan to do on this day, but because of cancellations or just something didn't take as long as I expected, I have a little extra time, so I'll move them on into today's. But this is my list of things that I'm hoping to get done today. And I am one of those people who will do something and then write it on the list and cross it out too, because I like to be able to look at my daily list and see this is what I did today. And if I do things that I don't put on the list, I don't put everything on the list, right? But if I do a task that's not on the list and it took up a pretty good chunk of time, I want to know that I used that time effectively and I wasn't just goofing off. Because if I get to the end of the day and I have a list of 10 things and 3 of them are marked off and I was busy all day and I only did 3 things, I'm going to feel like a failure. But if I have a list of 10 things and then I, did 8 other things, I only did 3 of the things on my list, but I did 8 other things, I want to know that that's what I was doing, using my time for when I wasn't doing all the things on my list, so that I can feel like I accomplished some stuff. I use this section down here with the lines for notes. Speaking of, I'm not sure if this shows up on the video very well, but this section and this section have dot grid. It is 5mm dot grid. So if you have stencils or something that are calibrated for a 5mm dot grid, those would work here too. This part down here has lines, and I use it for notes, or if I find a quote during the day that I really like. Sometimes I will use it for stickers or decoration. I often will use this box part down here for stickers. Like I said, I made it Happy Planner classic sticker size on purpose. Although this quarter, or at least this month, I have got these fun dragon stickers to use in my dragon planner. I got them on Amazon. If you're interested in that, I can post a link as well. I don't currently have affiliate links set up with Amazon. It might happen in the future, but it isn't right now. But I can still post a link if you're interested in the dragon stickers and being able to put those in your dragon planner. Okay, there is at the bottom, but you can use these sections however you want to use them. You might use them for habit tracking or tracking your exercise or mental health kinds of things. You could mark how many glasses of water you have, however you want to use them. At the bottom of the page, I have an assessment, and for me, it needs to be just a really basic, easy, simple assessment, but I do want to think at the end of my day, overall, how did today go? And then it's got a little smiley face and a neutral face and a frowny face that I can mark. Just to kind of track my mood, my feelings of how successful do I feel at tackling my life right now. Okay, so there's a daily page for every day during the week up through and including Sunday, and then but they are Monday through Sunday weeks. That's how my life kind of is ordered, and so that's how my planner is organized. Speaking of which, you may have noticed that this quarter for me starts on July 3rd, not July 1st, because July 3rd is the Monday. I start my quarters, I start my months on the Monday, and the Saturday, for example, this time, which is July 1st, and Sunday, July 2nd, are just grouped into the previous planner. So if you are a strictly beginning of the month person, this might not be the right planner for you, and that's okay. We can still be friends if we organize our planners differently. Okay, so weekly Waystation is what is my weekly assessment. because again, I like to have at least just a brief kind of evaluation of how things have been going so I can think about if something needs to be changed, or evaluate what's going well so I know to do more of that kind of thing. So you have come this far and lived to tell the tale. Well done, because it's dragons, right? We're adventuring, we're doing quests. It's a dragon planner. You've come this far and lived to tell the tale. Well done. Overall, how did this week go? So this way I can kind of flip back and see how my days went, my little daily assessments, and I can take that into account with other things and give myself kind of a little super simple score for how the week went. What side quests did you go on this week? I don't know about you, but often my weeks, they go about how I planned up through about Wednesday, and by Thursday I'm off track doing completely different things because those pop-ups have inserted themselves, or something didn't go the way I thought it would and it's going to need another day to work on it, and that pushed something else back. That kind of thing. Sometimes I'll get distracted researching something. So that would be a side quest. If I intended to do something and I did something else instead, I did something, and I feel like I should get credit for the things that I did. And so maybe I didn't get everything done that was on the plan, but I did some interesting side quests, and I want to make sure that I give myself credit for that. Because otherwise I can get really down on myself for not doing the things that were on the list. But sometimes the things that were on the list at the beginning of the week are not as important as some of the things that crop up. So anyway, what side quests did you go on? What unexpected treasures did you find? I want to think more about the good things that happen in my life, the little unexpected beauties and magical moments that do occur in life. And I find that I get so focused sometimes on what's going wrong and how I messed up and what didn't happen the way I thought it was going to, and who's mad at me and things like this, that I don't notice the treasures as much as I should. So I have given myself a place. This could be gratitudes. This could be, I saw a really piece of sparkly glass that was glinting in the sunlight on the parking lot this morning. Whatever, like just little happy moments. What plot twists did you encounter? This is when things don't go exactly as planned. I can make a note that my planner might be different than, or my execution might be different than what I planned because there were plot twists, and that's okay. And then what did you learn that will help you as your journey continues? So this might be something didn't work out like I thought it would, and I need to re-gear a system, or I learned that maybe I learned a new plotting technique for writing or something like that could be helpful as I go ahead. I want to take a minute and think about those things. And then at the bottom, I've just got this little reminder to myself, because like I said, I want to quit being behind on my bookkeeping all the time. So income and expenses for this week have been recorded, and that's just a little checkbox. And you can feel free to ignore any of that might not fit with your life. Flip the page, you get another equip yourself page checklist to get ready for the next week. Week 2 says dragons teach us that if we want to climb high, we have to do it against the wind. I may put a dragon sticker on these pages as I go through. Okay, and that's the basic setup for this thing. Walkthrough wise. There are a bunch more pages each month. There's August's coloring page. There are 3 months, July, August, September. When it's an undated planner, there will still be 3 months, so that you can use it for a quarter. The weeks are numbered for the quarter, not for the month. So, for example, this week of September 4th through 10th is week 10 of the quarter. There are 13 weeks in this quarter. I always use week 13 as my quarterly planning week to get ready for the following quarter. So I'm in my week 13 for quarter 2 right now, and I am preparing my new planner for the upcoming quarter. So then we get, after the notes pages at the end of the daily, weekly, monthly, all of that, there are notes pages, and then we get into some of what I'm calling cut and create pages. This time, and they may vary, I don't know, but this time what I've got in here is some index tabs that you can cut out and put on the edges of the page so that you can keep track of, so you can easily find where you're at, or if you need to look back at a previous week, you can find it easily. The months are shaded so that they will stand out, and then the weeks are numbered 1 through 13. There are a few blank tabs that you can add to your pages if there are things that you want to mark that are not just weeks and months. So for example, if you put a quarterly goals list in the notes section, you could write that on a tab and put it on the side of the page and be able to find that easily. If you're used to doing HB90 and you have your little sticky notes for your Kanban board, which I am not doing this quarter because my Kanban board has very much turned into a Kanban board. Like, it's all the stuff that I can't seem to get done, and it's been kind of demoralizing. And I know that that is very not the purpose of it or the intention, but right now, the way my life is, that is how it's functioning, and I don't want it to anymore. So if I lay out my tasks on sticky notes for each project, which I may do, I'm still considering, I could use a notes page per goal and just put my sticky notes on the notes page, and I could put an index tab there to be able to find those easily. Moving forward, I've got this index tab spacing guide so that you can know how to space them out. I can show you in a minute how to use that because I am going to be spacing out my things. Index tabs. There are some bookmarks here to cut out and use. They are on the regular paper, just because when you do print on demand, the way I'm having these printed, because I don't want to have to do the sales and distribution myself. But you could laminate them if you need them to be, thicker, stiffer, sturdier. There is one marked today and one marked this week. The today one has a checklist so that when you're doing your daily planning, you remember to check the weather and your appointments and write down your top 3, check your tasks, lists, projects, processes, pop-ups, write down your meal plans. Some of those bottom of the page sections might work on the daily page, might work really well for meal plans. And then anything else that you specifically want to make sure that you're marking on there every day, workouts, habit routines, things like this, you could write down here, and then you could laminate it if you wanted to. Weekly, I usually put a weekly marker, bookmark. Sometimes I use the little post-it page tab marker things in my planners, but I like to mark weekly that tasks page so I can find the tasks and the overview easily when I'm doing my daily planning. And then there are 2 bookmarks that just have fun close-ups from some of the coloring pages on them as art, so that you can bookmark wherever you would like. This page is just a little decorative coloring page because these pages are meant to be taken out of the book, which I will do again in a minute while I'm doing my setup. But this is the back of a page that is meant to be a pocket. Let's make a pocket. So with these, what you do is you fold the page on this line, which I'm going to just do quick. And then, let's see, on the line, I can do this. Okay, I'm just going to score it good with my thumbnail. You can get more careful if you are not me and would like to. And then you're just going to glue along the bottom of this page and then up to the fold. Then you'll turn it back over again. I will do this in a minute. Just turn it back over and then it will make a pocket. The dragon coming out of the pocket, and you can put your receipts or that paper your kid brought home from school that you're going to need to be able to find, or your appointment reminders or whatever in there. And then this page also folds down to make a pocket. And then we have our notes index that I showed you before. So that's the basic walkthrough of this planner, which I am excited about using this quarter. And you can find a link to it to the sales page on Amazon in the description. I'm going to keep going and at least set up my tabs and cut out my bookmarks and make my pockets. I will probably fast forward this part so that you guys don't have to listen to me chatter away while I'm doing that. One pointer for taking the pages out, which I'm actually not going to do, but you could put a piece of cardstock down in here and then cut so that you don't cut your notes pages accidentally. I am feeling very much right now the old anything worth doing is worth doing wrong, and if I try and do this perfectly, I'm just going to wind up talking myself out of it and not doing it, so I'm just going to wing it, guys. Okay, it does leave me, of course, with a little bit of a ratty edged little pieces of page down in there. But this is a glued binding, so it's not going to make any of the other pages fall out. If you don't want to cut the pages out and that bothers you, you could just photocopy these pages and use the photocopies. Okay, I'm going to make the pockets next. You could use a glue stick. I'm going to use just this crafter's tape. Oh, and the lid's already off. Hello. Okay. Just going to run this tape along the bottom here. Along. There we go. Along this edge of the paper, of the page, but only up to the fold. You could put a little bit of sticky glue right there to make sure that that stays down. I'm not going to worry about that. I think it'll stay down well enough for me. And then just push that down, and there's my pocket. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Got my finger in the pocket on that side. Okay. Smoosh that one down. There, now I've got a double pocket right there. This may also require dragging stickers, or maybe I'll just drop some clouds in, or maybe I just won't worry about decorating more. I like the coloring book aspects that are on here already. Okay, so now in the back I've got my index, I've got my pockets, I've got my note pages. Okay, and the next part is cutting out a billion of these page tabs. So I'm going to do that next, but I do want to show you a little trick with those because they can be kind of fiddly to cut out. So if you start out by cutting just a basic rectangle around them and just make these edges straight, then you can fold it in half. And then these shapes are a lot easier to cut out because you can just start here, flip it over to the other side, start here, and go into the corner, and it cuts both of those sides evenly, so it's easier and cleaner. You can round these corners if you want to. You don't have to. You do you. I am not here to tell you what to do. I just want to make your life a little easier. Okay, so there's week 7. I'm going to cut out the rest of these guys, and then I will probably fast forward that, or just cut it and that to show you how I stick them on using the page spacer guide. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking now, and we're just going to do the video editing thing. Okay, so next let's talk about how the spacing guide works. We're going to open up to, oh, that was easy, right straight to July, which is where I want the first tab to go. I want that one at the top of the page. So I am going to line this up. It might be easier if you kind of fold the page so that it isn't getting hung up down at the bottom. But you're going to line this page up at the top of your page in the book where you want your tab to go. And you're going to find your July tab. What I'm going to do is I am going to put adhesive just on the back part of this. And then I'm going to take the front part that does not have adhesive, and I'm going to line it up with my guide. Now this doesn't come all the way to the edge because of margin settings on the printer and all of that, but the bottom edge is where you're going to align this. So align this and then open the page. This is easier to do at a different angle, but you wouldn't be able to see it very well, so we'll do this. Okay, and then just close that up so that the back is now stuck to the July page. Now I can move that, and then I can put adhesive on the front part of the tab, and then fold that over on the fold line so that it's stuck to the front of the page. So now it's stuck to the front of the page. Cool, I've got that. Okay, front of the page, and the front of the page and the back of the page. And it sticks out enough that I can grab it easily. Okay, so there is the first one. Now I want to put the second tab. I want it to be week 1. You could have it be August if you wanted to, or so that you have your months first and then your weeks going down after that, however you want to arrange it. I want to have week 1 be my next tab. So I'm going to again align my guide at the top of my page here. And then, as you'll see, it says, which is sideways to where you're trying to read, but it does say align top of tab 2 here and the bottom of tab 2 here. So again, I'm going to take week 1, which is my second tab. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to just put adhesive on the part of the tab that goes on the back of the page. And again, you could use glue stick, whatever kind of adhesive you want to use. And so then I'm going to line the non-sticky part up with the alignment guide on the edge of the page, and I'm going to fold it back so that the back sticks to the back of the page. Take the alignment guide out, put adhesive on the part of the tab that goes on the front of the page, and then fold that over and stick it down. Now, since I used my alignment guide, they line up nicely. So that makes it a little bit easier. Then I'll go to week 2 and do the same thing, but with the third tab position. And I will just keep going until all my tabs are in. Okay, and then again, when we get to the bottom of the page, we have this margin, the print margin situation again. So for the 8th tab on the page, make sure you're aligning the tab just to this top line. And don't worry about where the edge of it falls down here. It's fine. And then I'm going to start my next tab back at the top of the page. Okay, there we go. Tabs in for July, 1, 2, 3, 4, August, week 5 and 6, and then starting back up here again with 7, 8, 9, September, 10, 11, 12, 13, which comes out handily to be even. And then I put one in for the notes pages in the back. I am going to save my tab placement guide in case I want to use it again. Now remember, this is glued along the bottom, so because the page is the same size as these pages, it's not going to go all the way in. So I'm going to fold it, and then it'll fit. And I can hang on to that in case I want to add tabs to some of the notes pages or future planning pages or something like that. I'm also going to save this extra half sheet of tabs that I've got. That can go in my pocket. And then I'm going to cut out my bookmarks. And this time, because I don't seem to have any laminate around, I'm going to cheat laminate these guys with some packing tape. If you put the lamination on before you cut them out, it's easier to get the edges to come out even. There we go. Okay, one. But we're doing the whole, if a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing wrong right now. And this way it will at least be done. Which frankly is what I'm aiming for today. Is it going to drive me crazy that my weekly one is wrinkly slightly right there? It might. But if it does, I can use one of these other ones for the week. And if it's still a problem, guess what? There is another quarter coming up in 3 months. And this is not permanent. You could color these. You might want to color these before you laminate them and cut them out. But don't worry so much about making it perfect that you get frozen up and don't do the job. Like, this is meant to help your life go smoothly for 3 months. It is not a lifetime commitment, and it does not have to be perfect. Now, these are not printed on the back, so you are going to have to, you know, do this little scoochy finagly thing on these corners, unlike the index tabs. Okay, and there we have it, all set up. We've got our planner with all of our tabs in place. I am going to put my this week tab into week 1, which is about to start. I will do my planning for week 1 off camera. And then I'm going to put my today bookmark in to July 3rd, which is about to happen. I'm going to put my other bookmarks just in my pocket at the back until I decide what I want to use those for. And all done. Remember though that if you don't want to use your today bookmark with the checklist on it, you can just go back to your monthly tab and flip back just the one page to the journey through the month ahead, and this last little set of check marks at the bottom of that page is what to do each day. So you could just use that instead of the checklist on the daily bookmark if you'd rather do something different for the bookmark. And that's it. That's all we've got. One setup dragon planner. August is a little crooked. That gives it personality. We do not have to go for perfection here. If you set one up, I would love to see it. Put a picture on your social media and tag me in it so I can see. Happy planning!